Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Tulley, President and Executive Writing Coach at Defend, Publish, and Lead. And welcome to episode 257, 2025 Holiday Gift Ideas for Writers or Yourself. We do one of these episodes every year, and we actually have a playlist of all of our holiday themed episodes for end of year writing, getting gifts to people over the years. Lots of those suggestions are still good. And so I will put a link in the show notes to our big holiday playlist, and you can check all this stuff out on YouTube, or you can listen to it in the audio version on Apple or Spotify. Speaking of Apple and Spotify, if you want to leave us a little holiday present, if you're willing to subscribe to the podcast or do follow us on YouTube, we really appreciate it and we love getting reviews. So one of the great things about leaving us a review on any of these forums is that if you let us know at Christine@defendpublishlead.com, we do give away a free writing coaching hour. So that way your time is rewarded and we get to hear a little bit of feedback from you. So if you're interested, please help us out in that way as we get towards the end of the year. So this episode is a tradition. We've done it every year as long as we've had the podcast. And I like it because I'm always trying to hunt for something writing themed for myself to give a suggestion to family members or somebody that wants to get me something. And I do try to think about what's something that will actually help me move writing forward. So not everybody wants a writing theme present, but for those of us who do, there's a lot of really creative ways you might think about this. And this year I paid particular attention to cost. So there on a couple of past lists, I had sort of like some dream items, if you were getting something really special, but everything on the list that I'm going to show you today is $50 or less, and many of them are $20 or less. So very, very cost effective this year. And this episode, this is 257. As I mentioned, we've done this for many, many years. So I will link the individual holiday gift item, episodes in our show notes in case you're hunting, you don't see something on this list. I usually don't repeat. I might have one or two things that are the same, but otherwise you probably have a list of maybe 50 suggestions across all of the episodes if you want to check them out. Okay. Number 10 is fun pens. So if you are not listening to this, this was the most random item I found when I was looking for writing themed gifts for this episode. At World Market in the US, there is a pen set called Sardine tinned fish pens, and they're basically made from sardine tins for $12.99. There are 3 pens. They're shaped like fish. They come in a little sardine tin. It is the most random thing ever. But I know for me, if I was going to write something out by hand or take some notes, or I was starting a new project, one thing that I have realized is if I switch up the pen I'm using, it reminds me to write down things about the project and to give that project some new energy. So it sounds silly, but a pen is something we use all the time to write a grocery list, to jot down a note on a Post-it, to write down notes for our writing or for our teaching. And I noticed if I switch out the pen I'm using, it kind of reminds me to keep thinking about the project that I'm working on. So I don't know what better way to do that than to have a sardine type pen, but they're really cool looking. I encourage you to look at it online if you don't have if you're not listening or watching this on YouTube, because they're really, really random. Another thing that I would recommend, so this is number 9 on our list, we do a countdown all the way down, is the guide to making time to write, which is 100 time and productivity management tips for textbook and academic authors. As you know, Textbook and Academic Authors is our sponsor for this year, and this is a book I've actually put some time-saving tips into, but I have not put this book down since I got it a few years ago. It is very cheap. You can get the ebook for $9.95, or you can get the print book for under $20. And why I like it is that if you think about it, this is a book that has more than 100 strategies in it. If you keep this book in your writing space, and it is very thin, it can go in a laptop bag, it won't add a lot of extra weight. How I'm using it now is that I look at a different tip each day before I start writing. And why I like that is because I don't always need a certain tip at a certain time. But one thing that has really helped me is I'm starting to remember, because if there's 100 strategies and there are more than 100, and I look at it at every writing session and start over, I'm probably looking at all these strategies at least twice. And there's all kinds of things in there. Some are really short tips to just get more out of the time that you have available to write. Some of it is making sure you don't forget stuff that you are doing when you're writing. There's a lot of like things like different writing logs in there and strategies and different ways to think about how to save time. But just in general, one of the things we know about academics is they're very time pressured and they don't have time to get a lot of things completed. So this book, I like it because it's all practical. So one thing you probably got on this podcast by now, if you've been a long time listener, is that we focus on the practical. What can we do to actually make academic writing happen? This book will make it happen. I am still finding tips that I haven't tried before. And another fun thing, this is sort of a quest for me with this book. I'm trying to check them off as I do them. So one of my New Year's goals is to see if I can get all the things in that book checked off. I want to try them all because one of the things that I know about who contributed to this book, I got to contribute a time-saving tip, but there are many, many other authors in there contributing, and they're all different, and we all think about writing in a different way. So one thing that we know about it is sometimes you have to shake things up once in a while. So I cannot recommend this book enough. Another thing that you could use it for is if you're a faculty developer for a faculty writing group, buying these in bulk, totally worth it because this is something that I think a lot of academic authors can benefit from. And it's a book that won't go out of style. It's not something that's tied to a particular year. Number 8, once in a while, I'll do a writing themed clothing item. So there's a sweatshirt on Etsy that says sorry, period, can't, period, writing, period, bye. So sorry, can't, writing, bye. This is a kind of a meme this year. But this sweatshirt, if you're interested, is only $9.97 on Etsy right now. At least if you're in the US. So this is something that you could check out, maybe a writing themed sweatshirt. We do know that there are writers in the past that have special things, like they might put on a special hat when they're writing, or if you always sit in the same chair at a desk, maybe you put on a big sweatshirt, or you have a certain blanket or something. The other thing I like about this one is that if you wear it, you're publicly committing to your writing. So number 8, your gift to yourself might be that public commitment and that this is something that you're making time for. Of course, it's sort of funny, so it's kind of like a joke too, but I don't think there's anything wrong in that because every time you put it on, you're going to think about writing. So I don't think that's a bad thing. And of course, you can get it in all kinds of colors and styles and all that. Number 7, this is a random item this year and kind of fun. I would recommend giving yourself the gift of cozy writing if you are in a cold climate. I'm in Ohio. We have a ton of snow. One of the things that has happened is that I've mentioned I have children. One of my daughters asked for a tiny space heater up in her room and she wanted a little pink one. So I went and looked because I haven't had a chance to kind of look for this sort of thing. I went and looked on Amazon. There are space heaters on there for under $25, and there was this really cute little pink cube. It's like a light pink. This is the one that I ended up getting, but if you type in space heaters or small space heaters, one of the other reasons I'm recommending this is not that you couldn't have one of these in your house, but I also have a portable space heater. Mine is just boring and silver and small, but why I like it is I can carry it with me. It's not, I wouldn't stick it in a laptop bag, but it is not big. It's it's smaller than, let's say, a shoebox. I have actually taken my space heater to the library when I'm writing. And whenever I park near an outlet, I plug it in and put it under the desk because it's cold up there in the winter. And so for me, if I'm cold, I'm not going to stay sitting in the chair longer to do writing. So if that's something that appeals to you, cozy writing. Alternatively, if you're in a warm climate or you're working in the summer, you can also get a really small fan to have and do the exact same thing with it. So that might be something that maybe you've never thought about as a writing tool, but I'll tell you, it does make me stay longer when I'm not freezing. Because the other thing is, we know when you're typing and things like that, if your hands are cold, it's just not a really pleasant experience. And I just find that if I have it underneath the desk, it kind of keeps the whole little area warm enough. So space heater is number 7 for cozy writing. Number 6 is The Gift of Slowing Down. I'm currently reading Cal Newport's Slow Productivity. It's a book. He does a lot with time management and just being more productive. I like some of his books. I don't necessarily like all of them, but this one I really like. And one of the things that I found was really interesting about it is a lot of people are sort of bashing on this slow productivity movement for lots of reasons. But one of the things I like about it is that it sets up just some simple rules to know whether you are working thoughtfully and productively or you're just rushing around. And so I'm not finished with it, but I do like sort of the mentality that it leads to. And the other thing that I like about it is that it emphasizes that you could still get some quality work done without burnout. So I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I've seen a lot of kind of bashing reviews about this book for lots of reasons. But personally, I like it a lot. I think it's got some really good claims in there, and it understands sort of the issues with knowledge work where we have to use our brains all the time, that we're not able to just be a machine and like turn our brain on and have great ideas come out. So that is number 6. Number 5 is fences. So finding stuff is number 5. And what I mean by finding stuff is that fences is something that I've recommended in a past episode, not necessarily for the holidays, but what this is a software from Stardock. I have a link to all of these products in the show notes, so you can go find them all. But what it does is it basically makes these shaded areas on your desktop, on your computer desktop, so laptop, desktop, whatever you got. And what it does is it allows you to put a bunch of icons inside a gray shaded area. So your desktop is more organized. I've mentioned many times how my desktop is always wildly out of control. I actually just cleaned it off on a flight. That tends to be the time of year. If I have a long flight, I just sit there and delete icons for hours. And that's usually when I get it done. But Fences is a way better way to do that. And there's all kinds of versions of Fences. So the one that I like and that I'm recommending at the moment is Fences 3. I believe now there's a Fences 6 out there with like lots of fancy things. But Fences 3 is sort of short, sweet. It allows you to do what you need to do. The last time I bought Fences, a yearly subscription was like $8. So totally worth it to me to just have everything organized looking. And that will be something I'm going to buy for the new year for myself. The next one, that was number 5. The next one is number 4. Number 4 is seeing what you need in one place. And what I have on screen is a desktop organizer from IKEA, $17.99 in the US. And it's white and it's mesh. It's made out of steel, and it has a little drawer in it, a file folder spot, and then these pockets for like standing up things like pens or scissors or whatever. Why I like this is that I used to use clear desktop organizers, so I could see everything that was in it, but I couldn't necessarily reach everything. I had to pull open a drawer. This one only has one drawer, and why I like it, which is very hard to describe if you're not looking at this at YouTube, but the other reason I like it is the drawer has a spot on top of it that is flat, perfect for putting a phone. So when I sit down to work in my home office, I almost always lose my phone somewhere on that desk or in my mess. It's a perfect spot for it because you can see it and you've got room for everything else. So really cheap. I'm definitely looking at investing in this one or something like it as I redo my home office next year. So cheap, and I don't know. I just like it better than standard desktop organization stuff because it's all in one thing. It's all one piece. And that was number 4. Number 3, give yourself the gift of no back pain. So I don't know if I'm becoming an old lady or all of us are, but I am now interested in kind of ways to make sitting in a chair a little bit more comfortable. And so there are all kinds of neck and back pillows and pillow sets for office chairs. There's one on Amazon that I was kind of looking at, and this one is $27.99. So it's down, it's low at this price or time of year. There's all different ones that you can look at getting, but The other reason why I like these, there's like a back cushion and a seat cushion, is that I could see a scenario where maybe if I'm going to work in the library all day, I might, along with my space heater, take a cushion with me if I wanted to. So I like that they're somewhat portable and they're two different pieces. It's not like one big giant thing. So this is something that I think could be really helpful to just make your writing environment more comfortable. We talked on a past episode, I have no idea what number, but we did talk about a past episode about just getting more physical when you're doing your writing and not sitting so long. But the fact is, sometimes we have to sit to get some of this work completed. So for me, just making the environment a little bit more comfortable is something that I'm really interested in. Number two, I always mention joining an organization. Textbook and Academic Authors Association is our sponsor for this year, but I would love them anyway, even if I was not having them sponsor this podcast. And this is because you can join our organization or Textbook and Academic Authors Association for just $25. And that's for the whole year. And you can do that by joining and putting in capital D, capital P, 25 in the coupon code. And why that's such a great deal, if you haven't seen it, I've talked about them many times on the podcast, so I won't say it all here, but here's the thing. With this organization, you get all kinds of stuff for just $25. So there are hundreds of templates for all kinds of things you need to do, like negotiate copyright or figure out a book contract or a writing log or how to work with a co-author. All those things are all in there that you can get anytime. There's also a giant library of webinars from all kinds of topics that are in there. They have all kinds of events that are really exciting to do. And one of the things that I like about it is that they also are on top of the current case in 2025 against Anthropic. So this is something that if you're interested in joining if you join the Textbook and Academic Authors Association, and even if you don't want to join, you can actually go to a free webinar on Wednesday, December 10th from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. So this is in 2025 when we're recording this. But if you want to go to a free webinar, you can find out how to do a claim against Anthropic and figure out how to do that. Many academic authors have had their work taken, and this is a lawsuit that is ongoing right now. So if that's something that you're interested in, the other reason why I like this organization is they just tend to pay attention to issues that are important to academic authors, and they actively negotiate on our behalf. So for me, $25, even if they weren't a sponsor, even if I didn't know them, I would totally join them just for that. So joining that organization for the year, it is my cheapest organization. So I always recommend it as a holiday gift. And it's also great for somebody else. If you're supporting a graduate student, maybe you have somebody that just finished a dissertation defense. This is the kind of thing for a lifetime of career of writing. So also great. Lastly, number one is writing support in the new year. And of course, I'm going to say this, but Defend, Publish, and Lead offers gift certificates for writers. So you can have somebody get you one and actually get you some writing. We do sell them on our website. You can get them at our Defend, Publish, and Lead store under the About Us link. But better yet, if you want to do it right now with me, we have a holiday coaching special going on where our hours are at the lowest price of the year. So you can actually buy in bulk and get some hours for free. So for example, if you buy 11, you get 1 free, you buy 15, you get 3 free, or you buy 20 and you get 5 free. So anybody either gifting you some of these hours, or if you're going to buy them for yourself, you can actually get a physical gift certificate if somebody's going to give it to you and they want something to wrap. If somebody does that, we do throw in lots of extra goodies from our Defend, Publish, and Lead store. So they can give you a little bundle if that's something that they're interested in. But if you want to do writing coaching with us, you can email me at Christine@defendpublishlead.com to arrange for coaching at a discounted rate. Lastly, don't forget about our Eventbrite events. And in December, our final event for the year will be an event on Monday, December 8th from 11 to 1 or 11 to 12 p.m. Eastern, and it is turning your conference presentation into an article. So if you're somebody that has presented at a conference this fall, this is a great time to turn that conference presentation, literally slides, a poster, handwritten notes, a short conference paper. Any of those items can be turned into some bones of an article. So you can find out how to do that with us on Monday, December 8th. Happy writing this week.